Hello, Tool Kids. This is Greg Myers again at Tools for Teens. And today we're going to talk about metal and metalworking. Well, everywhere you look, there's metal. And what makes a metal? Well, what makes a metal is the ability for those little electrons we've talked about before to conduct from one place to another. And so here's an ohm meter that I'm putting across that you can see can allow electrons to go and push on the molecules that are in there, and the electrons move along the way from one molecule orbit to another, and eventually they go from place to place, like in a circuit that we were talking about once before. But there are all kinds of metals, and it all started out a very long time ago, and somebody discovered this stuff called iron, and they found out that you could melt the iron to make things. And if you pounded it, you could pound it into all sorts of shapes that could be used for all sorts of tasks. Well, here's a piece of sheet metal, okay, and it has a lot of iron in it and a lot of other things, carbon, that makes iron become steel. Iron and carbon equals steel. Different amounts of carbon that are in the combination makes the steel have different qualities. Anyhow, that's one of the nicest things that we're using these days. And then, hey, take a look at this. It's what we normally would call a tin can. Look at it. It's actually not just a tin can. It's a steel can that's covered with a tin coating so that it can be used to hold food. And one thing you'll notice is that magnet that's on there, and a magnet is a real handy thing to let us know whether something has iron or steel in it. So it attacks that, it attaches to that. Well, what else can we look at here that a magnet might work on? Well, here, what's this? Oh, I think that is a piece of brass. Okay, does it work on brass? Let's see. No, I guess not. Brass is one of the other commonly used things. Here's another piece of brass, ornamental brass. No, it doesn't do anything there either. How about this sort of reddish stuff here? What is that, huh? Does that do anything? No. That's copper. Copper is really important because it gets mixed with all sorts of things. It's a really good conductor of electricity, better than steel or iron. Boom, boom. Okay, what about this? Well, that, I think, is all aluminum. And aluminum is not magnetic either. Why is it important for something to maybe be magnetic? Well, it comes in real handy when you're working on a material, machining a material, to know whether it has iron in it or steel in it. What's this? This is another piece of, I think this is bronze here. Okay, you can sort of tell bronze from brass. It has a little different color to it. Okay, brass has a combination of copper and zinc in it, and bronze has a combination of copper and tin in it. here's another piece of bronze. Bronze is probably a little harder than most brass, and it makes a good material to make things like pumps out of and different things that have to last a while, and you don't want them to get corroded. Well, here's some more copper. You can tell by how red it is. Okay. And what's this thing? Well, this is sort of a hammer, isn't it? But it's really, really heavy, and it's got a very soft metal here. This is lead. And lead is one of those things that's also considered a metal. It melts really fast. And let's see, does it conduct electricity? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right. Well, lead is nice when you're dealing with very soft metals that you have to shape. Okay, what's this? Well, this is a piece of plumbing, and another one of those things you don't want it to rust. And this is stainless steel. Well, let's check stainless steel out. Well, if it's called stainless steel, how come it doesn't hold a magnet? Well, it doesn't hold a magnet because of the amount of other things, other materials that are in it that changes how magnetic, or the magnetic properties of the metal. Well, what about this? This is part of a bumper from a car, and it's shiny. Okay, that shiny part is actually something called chrome. And chrome is a material that we use to coat things that we don't want to rust. And it's very shiny. It looks really nice. And so that's chrome. And guess what? It's magnetic. All right, what's this? Well, that looks just like a steel pipe, doesn't it? And guess what? It has steel in it. Okay, it has iron in it. It'll take a magnet. Okay, but what's that about the coating? The coating is, I don't know how you can say, it's kind of cloudy, and it has almost like little fish scales on it. Well, that is a coating that you call galvanized, okay, galvanization. And that also keeps that from rusting so fast. Got to be careful with that particular material when you're getting it hot, because it can give off vapors that you just don't want to breathe. Galvanizing something means you're putting a layer of zinc over it. You can do that over steel alloys. And then there's this other stuff. It's lighter than steel for something the same size and thickness. It's lighter than steel, and that comes in very handy. And it doesn't take a magnet at all, but it will carry electricity. This is called aluminum, and you'll see aluminum used a lot of places where weight is important. How heavy something is important. Something that's spinning real fast, like maybe the propeller on an outboard motor. This one looks like it got kind of mashed up there, doesn't it, huh? Well, I promised you we were going to talk a little bit about working with metal too. So let's take a piece of metal that's flat here, and let's kind of make something out of it, okay? So here's a nice, relatively soft thing, and then here's my sheet metal, and here is a hammer that has a round end on it, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to start to bend it. This around. Well, You get the idea. See, you get the idea. You can start to bend things into different shapes. Let's do it this way. Here are a couple of my favorite dollies, things that I just found in the metal scrap heap. But look at all of these wonderful angles on here that you can use to form metal. Here's another one. That's my sharp, straight one. And here's another one that I love to use for making curves. Look at all of these curves on here. Very, very handy. Ow! You have a tube. Okay, well, we have all those different shapes of hammers, and we're going to try using those shapes to do a couple of things here. I'm just going to put a sharp little edge in this. And the beauty of doing steel is that if you make a mistake, you can always take it apart, weld it again, and start over. The key word for today is iron. Well, here we are over at the welding stand, and what we're going to do is we're going to take a broken tool. See this broken tool here? And we're going to flatten it out, and we're going to turn it into something useful, okay? So first of all, let's heat this up, and let's get this cherry red. You want to get it pretty red before you weld it or before you bend it. It'll make it a lot easier to bend. Now that we have a cherry red, this is basically what a blacksmith would do in the old days. You take a big mallet to heat the end of it, or to beat the end of it. We're going to put it in water, and by submerging it quickly in water, we're going to be making it a little bit more brittle, but an easier thing to use as a tool. If we just let it cool slowly, then it would bend very easily and wouldn't be very good to use as a tool. Looking pretty good for a tip. I think we'll leave it like that. Well, that's what I've got for you today, talking about metals and metalworking. Isn't it interesting that something that seems so hard and so immovable can move for you and be used for so many things if you have the right tools? Well, I'll see you next time on Tools for Teens.
Take a tube here. Oh.
Not again. Nice effect.